Good morning, everyone. It is 9:03. We're getting started 3 minutes late this morning. We had a couple complications, and I appreciate you hanging in here with us while we get organized. So today we have two topics we're going to cover. One is the money for something intensive, and the way that we're going to explore that is with one of our recent graduates, who is also my partner, Mark Vanderpool, and his wonderful, amazing, very exciting project, the Dodecatimer, or the Time Tumbler, whichever name we're going to brand it. And so he will definitely be sharing about his project, where he's at in his campaigning, and the development of the timer, and what the course provided him. And then the second part of this call will be about using dashboards to manage your social media campaign. And we're just going to look at one dashboard today, Hootsuite, and just explore that a little bit. So for right now, I'm going to ask Mark to come on. I'm going to put him up and introduce himself. Hello.
Good morning. Like Adrian said, my name is Mark Vanderpool, and I took her course earlier this year. And during the course, I developed an idea I had that I created late last year as just a good idea. And then at various conferences and meetups, I experimented with it. And then during her actual intensive, it really came to fruition, and I started preparing for a crowdfunding campaign. So I had to start fleshing out some of my ideas in terms of what is it going to take. And it's really quite humbling to think that it isn't just my idea and executing on my idea. There is an awful lot of auxiliary stuff that also needs to be in place. And I've been dealing with and struggling with what that is and how to do it. And then meanwhile, I've also been hard at work at fleshing out the actual prototype. So I can show you that right now. Let me see if you can see this, but that's what the a current version of what it looks like. So this is executed in wood. It has 12 faces. Each face has a number on it, and the real beauty and attractiveness of it. Let's say I'm putting the number 5. If I put that as the top surface, the time tumbler will actually start timing. It beeps an acknowledgement, and you leave it alone, and then 5 minutes later, it will sound a tone to tell you that time is up. So it's a very simple concept. It's very intuitive to use, very straightforward. Kids can well, actually, adults can too, but kids instantly get how it works and love it. Adults do too. So what's next for me is to actually start fleshing out a schedule for production. Like, okay, I now have this. Now, how can I streamline that so I can make several hundred of them? I probably want to also create at least one other prototype design which has lights of some sort, so that there is a visual element to it, visual feedback, and start creating the actual campaign so that I have the bling that people can pledge for, and start creating some collateral that I can hand out. Like there is a mini maker fair coming up here at Oregon State University, where I can, everybody who wants it can have a table. So I said I want one, and then at the table I can have. Let me show you another version here. Oops. Let me see where I put them. So this is just a well, how would I say this? This is just a paper version. It's printed on heavy stock. It's just a color. It has no functionality. It just looks cool. But at the table, I can have versions of that people can take home, fold up, make into actual dodecahedrons, and then it'll have my campaign information printed on it. So they have in existence something that's cool to handle, cool to hold, and it's like a paper mock-up of a final version that they could actually pledge for on the campaign that will go live hopefully within the next 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, Adrian is running another course where that's the actual point of the whole course is you get on board and she will work with you to actually get a campaign up and running all the way through to getting it funded. So I'm hoping that my campaign and hers will, well, my campaign and her course will be close enough in time so that I can actually make use of her offering to make my campaign successful. All right, that's all I need to say right now. Anything else, Adrian?
Yes, actually, I have several questions for you. Thank you for mentioning the new course. So the way that I have structured the current offerings is that we have our 4-week intensive, which is really the design course for your crowdfunding campaign. And that's what Mark and 9 other participants are graduates of. So they have the entire structure available, how to put together a successful campaign. This next course is a 12-week course, and I'm kind of playing with the numbers. It could be 8 weeks, it could be 12 weeks, could even be 16 weeks. But we got to figure that out. You know, test. That's what you do in the real world. But right now I'm thinking 12 weeks. And it's an actual, I call it the Money for Something launch course. And you need to be a graduate of the intensive in order to be able to take this 12-week course, because that structure, understanding that structure, having developed some of the basic elements, which I'm going to have Mark talk about a bit, like what was the experience inside the intensive, having all of those pieces together and ready to go for the 12-week launch course is critical. And then during those 12 weeks, we're actually crafting the content. We're creating relationships with media, it's the rubber on the road sort of experience. Not sort of, it is the rubber on the road experience. And I hope it coincides with his schedule as well, because I know that this course is going to cause anyone who's in it to be successful with their campaigns. 100% guarantee. That's what I do in all my courses. If you're not satisfied, of course, you get your money back. So much for the pitch. Let's talk with Mark a bit about the intensives. So the first thing I'd like to know, Mark, is when you put yourself into the structural course, what were your expectations of the course, and how did those expectations shift?
So my expectations were to discover what it actually is going to take to do a crowdfunding campaign, and also to discover if there was even any traction in my idea. Like, I had 8 people who were like frank with me and gave me feedback and further ideas. So that was something that was unexpected. I hadn't really had that as an expectation, so that was a bonus. So let me see what else was there. What I also didn't expect to discover was the vast reach and depth of preparation that is required to have a successful campaign. I'd always assumed that what I'd seen of the campaigns is all there was to it. Like, oh, you just have a page up and you put up some things that people can pledge for, and then it either works or it doesn't work. And if it did work, it's because the campaign had something that people wanted. What I discovered through Adrian's course is that it's a lot more deliberate than that, and a lot more work behind the scenes. Like, it's only the tip of the iceberg that's visible on a campaign page. So it was a bit daunting, because I thought I could just run a campaign like on the side, like, oh, I've got some, I've got enough material to start building some. I'll throw a campaign together to start selling some. Was kind of my thinking, and I discovered that I can do it like that for sure, except that I just sell a few, and that would be it. The campaign wouldn't fund if it's one of the ones where you need to get funding, meet your goals to get the money, or even if it's one where that's not the case, it wouldn't be a thorough success. So those are things that I got from the course, and then inside the course there were lots of practical exercises where I could play with and actually do examine what successful campaigns were, what elements make them successful, where all the well, how do you put that? The well, where the outside influencers make such a huge difference to the campaign, and how do you attract them, like on Twitter and on various blog sites. Like, they are the one of the key traffic generators for your campaign, and that was valuable to discover that was needed and where to go get that, and then the various tools that Adrian demonstrated where you could actually make that really easy, so you don't have to spend a lot of time running the campaign. Now, having said that, you do have to spend a lot of time preparing the campaign, but at least you can do that before you started, rather than panicking during the campaign, having to scramble to figure it all out and generating what needs to be generated during the campaign. So with it's not a little bit of upfront work, but with upfront work, the actual campaign gets to be much less stressful. And in fact, I discovered you could do it for a few hours a day, like on the side. So that's good. It's just I have to take longer getting ready for it.
Thank you for that, Mark. So the other thing that that we've built into the intensive, and this will continue on with the launch course, is we established a buddy system, and each week the participants in the course would take on a new buddy. So Mark had 4 buddies during the 4 weeks and 5 work days of the course to support one another during the week, to do the work that was necessary to get him where he is now and to get them where they are now. So Mark, what was the impact of using the buddy system in those 4 weeks for you?
So for me, it was really getting in-depth feedback on my design. People, during the calls, we talked about what we were each up to. So I got 4 different opinions. Actually, yeah, I had 4 during my buddy calls, where I got some really valuable feedback and discovered connections that the other participants had that they offered as available to me, or just ideas that they had from other sources which I would never have considered. So it enriched my own ideas and campaign for the Dodecatimer. It also spurred me on to actually take even more action than I would have just been listening to Adrian, because now there was ideas that were coming in that I could act on, that I would then act on. The other part was that I had an opportunity to really get into their thoughts around their campaign in more depth and be a contribution to them. And finally, there was the validation and the have it sink in what we just been dealing with in the intensive coursework. So there'll be opportunity to bounce ideas of, well, how do you think that would work, or did Adrian mean such and such, or well, that sounded great and I want to try this. And then we'd have like a little brainstorming session about how various aspects of what we just learned could apply to each other's campaign in a little more depth than even the the extensive time that Adrian spent with us. So that was valuable. So yeah, those are the three things I got from my buddies.
Awesome. So another aspect of the course were the materials. So we start with the workbook, which is free. You guys download the workbook. Start to get familiar with the structure of a campaign. It's free. It's free. Use it. But we use it as a structure for conversations inside the intensive. And then several other resources are shared during those 4 weeks. So there's other worksheets, there's budgeting and planning worksheets, there's different materials from other social media marketers, just other organizations that I work with, or tools, and the training videos and other materials that go with those tools. Like MailChimp, for example, has amazing training on newsletter marketing. And so I refer people to those amazing resources. So Mark, now I don't know that you got to use all the tools during the 4 weeks, but you at least gained some exposure to the spreadsheets, to the workbook. Were those tools helpful, and what new insights did you gain when using the tools, or working with the tools, or playing with the tools, as it were?
So what I first of all, yeah, the workbooks and worksheets are incredibly powerful and incredibly useful, because a lot of thought has gone into them, first of all, and secondly, it captures things that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of to even think about. So there are spaces for things to fill out, so it becomes a lot less daunting to actually consider doing a campaign and then actually running the campaign. So that was the one aspect, is that the workbook just guides you through the whole process. Make sure that you've thought of everything, even if you're not going to take action on everything. And then the other part is that there's lots of tools that you can get training on, and that Adrian will guide you through, that manage and support the critical parts of the campaign, like managing the people that you want to that are excited by the product and have questions or have feedback or have something they want to say about it. There's the tools that she introduced me to would allow me to really simply manage that and do it in a way that's very responsive, that allows all the people who are interested to really feel that they've got a live connection to me. If I'd just done it my way, it would have been much more haphazard. Like, some people would have gotten really good feelings about the campaign, and others would have just felt, it's just one of those, ho-hum, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. So that was really useful to know that I can use these tools to actually service everybody who gets, who's interested in my project, who gets touched by it, or who tries to reach out. And then finally, the part that was really cool is a lot of it can be automated. So I can just have a few intensive sessions of creating all the material I want for the whole campaign, and then basically set it up to trigger at various points during the campaign, or when various trigger events happen in the campaign. And then I don't have to worry about it. I mean, I'd probably still worry about it, but at least I wouldn't have to take actions during the campaign and then miss opportunities, or be late with opportunities that present themselves. So that's that was really like allowed me to relax. Like, oh yes, I can do a lot of the intellectual, like, thinking about it ahead of time and capture all the thoughts I had and all the actions that I could see to take, and then have them ready to go when in the midst of the campaign I'm busy responding to people's requests or concerns or even just excitement. And I can really deal with them and not have to worry about, I've also got to fix up a press release for tonight or a blog post that needs to go out or whatever else is also happening. So all of that could be automated, and then I can actually deal with what's coming up in the campaign in real time with the people, because ultimately the campaign is about touching people. And that's where my focus needs to be during the campaign, not on the minutia of running the campaign. So knowing that all those tools are out there is great. Having Adrian show me which ones she recommends is really super. And then going through a few of them that she really loves and seeing how they work and getting my hands in them was just, brilliant.
Do you remember like your favorite tools? Because I show people. The other thing that happens with the other participants, and this is wonderful, is other resources show up. So I really love Basecamp for project management, but it doesn't work for everybody. So one of the participants, Gary Moore, who's a novelist, he discovered Trello, and I don't remember if we had mentioned it in class and then he went and tried it or how that happened, but Trello came up during that particular intensive in March. And so he went and tried Trello out, and for him it was perfect. And it really is a beautiful system for designing all of the stages of a project. And so he is using it now in his campaign with his novels as his primary planning and execution tool. So Mark, I'm curious, because we looked at Hootsuite, which is and we're going to look at the dashboard in a little bit. Hootsuite, that's a social media aggregator where you can streamline all your messages. And we looked at, well, of course, the spreadsheets, the Excel spreadsheets for budgeting, for planning your marketing, MailChimp. What tools were new to you, and what do you see is possible for you now? Because you're in the midst of planning your campaign, right? So why don't you share with folks the tools that you see yourself using that came out of that course?
Wow. Well, I think the first one is Trello, which I also love, and the way it works I like better than Basecamp. So that's one tool that I'm for sure using and expanding my use of. Some of the other tools I hadn't really picked a favorite yet. I think MailChimp would be great for capturing the email addresses and managing, responding and capturing the effectiveness of my messaging. And then some of the other tools I don't even remember the names of them exactly, but the Sprout tool, which tracks essentially the message that's going out there and where it's showing up, was intriguing. Like, wow, I didn't even know that kind of behind the scenes activity was possible to monitor and create and generate. So those are the ones that are highlights for me. Is like, okay, here's this awesome project management system, Trello. MailChimp is just this powerful mail program that also tracks which mail messages are actually being effective. And then Sprout, or one of its competitors, I guess it is, to actually integrate all the various media outlets or platforms that could be useful to my campaign. So yeah, and I'll probably discover more, because there was a lot of information in the course that at the time I just filed away as, oh yeah, that's an interesting little thought to have, or an experiment, or keep in mind. And then as I'm developing my campaign further, I will have to well, get with Adrian and say, hey, if I want to do this, what do you recommend? And then she'll probably refer me back to one of the work days where she says, well, we covered that then, and here's the information you need. And I'll, if I'm lucky, I'll remember it, and if not, I'll just have to read it again and maybe look at the material again.
Thank you for that. So one of the things that we did is we recorded all of the sessions. So all the work days are recorded. I use Vimeo to store the final version of those. And so the participants have access to the work days anytime. I mean, it will be there for as long as I'm doing this, maybe even longer, who knows. But they'll always have access to their videos. Now, no one else gets access to it. It's just for the participants that were in that course. And so there's, I think we have 9 videos, morning and afternoon sessions for four of the work days, and then the final work day, which was half a day. So they have all that material that was presented, all of the comments, all of the work that they did as a team, as a group, archived and available to them at any point that they choose to go back to it. And I'm also building a little document archive for them as well, so they can go back to the materials and the links and things like that. So they have the entire course that they were in available to them forever, really. So that's something that Mark will be able to do, you know, as he's refreshing his memory around what the campaign involves and what tools that he'll need to use. He'll have all of that reference material at his fingertips. The next course is coming up at the last week of June. And so the course day is a Friday. Let me go to my website real quick and I'll show you. To sign up, Mark, I'm going to have one more request of you, but hang in there just a moment while I do a screen share and get folks to the sign up. Okay, so this is the website. It's moneyforsomething.com. Money and then the number 4 something.com. And that's my beautiful face on the front. And here is our program button. This is the intensive that's coming up the last week of June. So you just click on that. And it'll take you to this page, which gives you basic information about the course. It's 4 weeks, 5 sessions. The dates are right here, the 26th through July 24th. That's 4 weeks bookended with 2 work days. Here's that 100% money back guarantee. It's $525 to participate, and you can make payments, or you could just pay all at once. And then here's what you get out of the workshop, etc. So to register, you just click on the add to cart. If you want to make 2 payments, you can subscribe down here. And this is a PayPal subscription, so it'll automatically come out 30 days later. So the first payment comes out immediately, the second payment 30 days later. And then you'll be registered into the next course. So these are the dates: June 26th, July 3rd, 10th, 7th, 17th, and 24th. There are morning and afternoon sessions. There's an hour-and-a-half break between the sessions. Sessions run about 3 hours, sometimes less, and sometimes a bit more, but about 3 hours. And we cover a lot in that time frame, a lot. Just like with Mark's course, all of your sessions will be recorded. We also had midweek support calls, conference calls twice a day. There was one in the early morning and one in the evening. And so that was about midweek, halfway between work days. So if people were stuck or if there were any questions, it gave me an opportunity to work with individuals in the group setting, because very often people have the same kind of stoppage issues, the same kind of confidence issues, or whatever it is that's coming up and in the way. We can work on that in a group, and we did. So all of those are recorded and those are archived as well. So all of those calls, whole bunch of additional information, not just the Q&A between the participants, but if there was new information, or if there was a new tool, or if there was something, some way of streamlining something else, that was presented in those calls as well. So this really is the full meal deal. Everything you need to structure a successful campaign is in this intensive. So I will go back to Mark. So my final question for you, Mark, is what's next? When do you want to launch your campaign? How are you structuring? Are you using a calendar and reminders to move you forward? Do you have buddies that are still helping? How are you structuring the next steps for yourself?
Well, right now I feel overwhelmed. I've got lots of people who are still asking me from the course and from other places where I've talked about it, like, oh, what's happening, when are you doing it? I really want one. I've got a couple of even preschools that are waiting for some prototypes or early models so they can test it out in classrooms. So I've got a lot of excitement already, and I'm feeling like a little overwhelmed, like I need to have a like a pre-launch management system so I can manage all the people's expectations and communications. So I'm kind of struggling with how to create a team and have them be, well, I guess they're motivated. How, I feel obligated to manage their expectations for a reward or a payback or a return for their time, and I haven't really resolved that yet. I'm still struggling with that. The other thing that's coming up for me is that some of these people that have given me ideas are, professional people that have professional connections with real clout. So I want to, well, I have, I guess, a concern that I'm just this little amateur who's got a cute little idea. But one of the things that was suggested was I could actually create licensed material versions of the cube. So instead of having numbers on a colorful background, I have numbers with superheroes, and make them Disney cube or Disney Dodecatimer, that kind of stuff. And to me, that's dealing with, that's the big league, dealing with Disney and Marvel and DC Comics. I guess Disney and DC are now the same, but so I'm apprehensive, like, oh, I need to have something that's actually proven before I can go talk to them. So I need to overcome those little hurdles that are basically of my own creation. It's because I haven't actually started the conversation yet, other than the idea. So to answer Adrian's question, what's next is to tonight I'm going to a networking meeting where a bunch of angel investors are gathering to support other companies, and I'm just going to talk to people about, I'm going to bring my prototype and I'll explain it, and I'll see what reaction I get from that crowd, like people with who are at the head of angel investor funds, to see what feedback and coaching I can get from them. I will reach out to some of the my former classmates from the Money for Something intensive and start following up with them about the connections and resources that they have. Like, okay, what would it actually take to get a licensing deal with Marvel or Disney or any of the any of those organizations. And then finally, I actually need to talk to some manufacturers. Like, I've already sent out some emails, but I never got a response back. So I need to follow up with that. Like, actually start putting it in a tracking system. Say, okay, well, so and so contract manufacturer never returned my call, so I'm not going to use them until I get some traction with people that are interested, or I do have the capacity or the interest to deal with my project and my way of doing business. So I suppose you could sum that up as what's next is get serious and actually start treating this like a like a project that warrants attention, and I need to relate to it like that, and then people will start to give me the attention and the seriousness that that would make it work. Does that answer your question, Adrian?
Pretty thoroughly. Another thing that we've set up is, and this may help you with that, Mark, is we've proposed a series of monthly support calls, just telephone conference calls for the group. And there's a few takers for that. So I think that that's going to be a resource that will for sure assist you in moving things forward until the launch course is available to you. So at least you can keep doing what you're doing, but get it organized as you're moving along. So that's all great. Thank you so much. So what I want to do now is take a look at some aggregate tools. And so Hootsuite was one of those tools that I shared in the class. We're just going to take a quick look at it here. So what's amazing about these aggregation tools is that any of your social streams, so if you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Pinterest, any of those social sharing sites, there's a stream in every single one of them, a stream of posts and content, either yours that you're posting or that others who you're following are posting. And so it can get to be just absolutely insane from a management perspective. It can take a ton of time if you have to go to each one of those sites. It just takes forever. And then add on top of it your email marketing and any other marketing that you're doing online. It can just get to be too much. And so several years ago, dashboards to manage all of this started showing up. So the one of the early players that is still a major player in this particular arena is Hootsuite. And so if you look at this is my home screen. I just logged in, and you'll see here, this is one of my Twitter streams for this profile. I have several profiles on Twitter. This is my personal one, Adrian Ann, the artist one. And so this is a stream of who's posting what I've posted, like Add a Little Mystery to Your Life. That was part of the campaign for the Hater art caper that we did just a few weeks ago, which was fabulous. Here's my Facebook timeline. This one is this is my personal timeline. This is what's scheduled to go out on my timeline on Facebook. So I have tweets and posts that are already scheduled inside this dashboard. So they go out, periodically. So I don't have to be posting every day, but I am posting every day as far as the rest of the world is concerned, because it's all programmed right in here. And then you can pick specific pages. So again, I have, a dozen pages on Facebook business pages for the various things that I participate in. And so I can put all of those in my stream here too. even Instagram. It's crazy. So you can add all kinds of streams, and then you can manage your entire online campaign from a dashboard like this. So here you see I've got a YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel, one of my channels, and then this is MailChimp. And so I can manage my whole social media campaign through a single dashboard. Boy, what a time saver. What a great tool to focus your message. This is like the best storytelling tool available in the modern age, because we have so many platforms, so many ways to get our messages out. This will allow us to tell a congruent story through all of our streams over time. So people are really getting who we are and what we're up to and what's available to them through what we're offering. And you could just do this for a lark if you really want to. So that's how you monitor what's happening. Then up here, you can compose instant messages and you can send it to any of the profiles that you've put in your list. So you see I have a massive list of social media sites. And so I can compose a message and choose which platforms I want this to go on. I can add a link, I can add an image, I can create an event, all of this through a single dashboard. So this goes out on Twitter, it goes out on Facebook, it goes out on LinkedIn, it goes out wherever it needs to go out. So I think you can really grasp the amazing power of this kind of an aggregator. Now this is the publisher, and you can look and see which profiles have things that are going to be published and which don't. It's just really another way of being able to compose your messages and when you're going to deliver them. So all of that gets programmed right into here. This shows what's happened in the past. So these are the tweets and the posts that have gone out this week. And so you can always tell at a single glance what's gone out or what's scheduled to go out. This is great. Suggestions. This is really awesome. So based on keywords that you set up in your settings, so I do live action role playing, art, and crowdfunding for this particular one. Save that. And now Hootsuite suggests tweets from other resources that you can schedule. So here's a great one. Kickstarter opening up comics to new audiences. All right. Yes, I want that to go out for sure. And then you could just read through to see what fits and what doesn't for what you're up to. And then you save it. You schedule the message, and boom, it automatically goes into your scheduled tweets and post releases. So that's pretty darn cool. And then if you have several files and bulk messages that you're sending, you can, like, so if you're working in Word or you're working on a notepad or you're just working with other tools, you can then bulk upload all of that and schedule all of that as well. So it's pretty amazing. So this is Hootsuite. It takes a bit of time, or at least it took me a bit of time to get used to the streams and how these work. And as the social media has become sophisticated, so has these aggregator tools. Now, another tool, and this is one that Mark talked about, is Sprout Social. Let me finish this part. So I have to sign up for Twitter. I'm going to authorize the app. So you're seeing me go through the whole process of setting up a Sprout Social account. My business name, so this is going to be Black Ink Mysteries. Time zone is Pacific, and there we go, English. Okay, so what's really cool, now Sprout Social is also an aggregator tool, but this does even more. If we go to Discovery, this is the power of Sprout Social. So under Discovery, you can actually create searches for lists and sites and groups and things like that, bloggers, online journalists, people and news sites that are beneficial or in alignment with what you're offering. And so as you set all of these different things up, this starts to be populated with people you didn't even know who are out there who have a huge following as it relates to your business or your offering. So let's just enter a keyword here, and let's say mystery party and see what comes up. So these are different tweets. It's not really looking like what I want. So let's go back here. Let's do a new search. Let's use LARP. That stands for live action role playing. Let's see what comes up for LARP. So then you can look at each of these tweets. And I'm just going to go here to look at this particular profile. Basic adventuring. If this is someone who is tweeting about LARPs, you take a look and see how many followers they have in a following. You look and see who else is posting on their profile to see whether or not these people actually have the kind of social reach that you're looking for. And I'm going to say, for right now, this one doesn't necessarily work. And so you just go through. Let's see where else. Even fewer followers. So it'll take some time, but this will definitely help you find the kind of fans and fan base that you'll be looking for. So I'm going to go back top. So if I enjoyed what Gary Bates was doing, I could actually put in the contact information. I could look him up online. I could stick all the contact information right in here, title, email, phone. So now I have a media contact data point that I can use, and it'll always be here. I could put notes in this. When I reach out to him, and we start to set up a relationship, all of that's going to show up in Sprout Social. And in the way that Hootsuite manages streams, Sprout Social also manages streams, but then it has this added benefit. And of course, you get what you pay for. So Sprout Social is about 3 or 4 times more expensive than Hootsuite is. But you can see that through this data mining tool, you're going to be able to set up a really massively powerful campaign. And again, here we have the publishing module, which is similar to Hootsuite's. It's just very similar. Feeds, tasks. So this is great. Now, Hootsuite has this as well. So if you've got a team working with you, which I highly recommend on your crowdfunding campaigns, that you recruit and train a team on using these tools. And it could be a team of one other person. It could be two people, but train folks who are very passionate about what you're doing to help you during the campaign process. So you're not the one trying to manage all of these streams and all of these conversations. You want to free yourself up during your campaign to be spontaneous, be able to respond to anything instantly, while your team and your pre-programmed posts and tweets are doing the bulk of the communication, getting people excited, drawing people in, etc. And so these tasks, you can assign them to your other teammates. Leads. I mean, this is a very robust contact tool, just fabulous. So the two together, Hootsuite and Sprout Social in conjunction, will probably be all that you need, or either one will be probably robust enough for you as well. Now, if you're running large campaigns, so I have a couple projects that I'm consulting on right now. These campaigns are huge. These are $500,000, $600,000, $2 million campaigns. And so for us, there's going to be a suite of tools that we use with people assigned to specific streams, specific conversations, etc. So those are huge campaigns, and it takes a body, a really solid team to manage all those conversations, and make sure that whatever needs to be attended to is attended to. And these tools, they make a huge difference. So we're actually nearly out of time. I'm going to take a breath. And I want to thank you for dropping in and listening, certainly learning a lot from Mark. I'm so excited for his project. It's going to be such a wonderful thing to see someone that has participated in one of my courses moving forward and clearly on the road to success. And I appreciate that you took time to come and learn about dashboards. The best way to learn about them is get that free trial started. So both Hootsuite and Sprout Social have free trials. You want to sign up for them today, and start practicing with them. Because those tools can make or break a campaign. All right, thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Our schedule is a little wacky. I've been kind of sick, like a lot sick. So we're gonna have back-to-back Wednesday broadcasts. So next week, I'll have a new guest. I don't know who that is yet, and a new topic. So I hope to see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.